Summer activities. When I was 5, my parents always wanted me to do things outside the house with other kids instead of being cooped up inside and playing with Legos like the little shut-in I was. Thanks, Mom and Dad! So, when school was out, they made me participate in my worst nightmare. Playing with other kids. Or just swim lessons because I couldn't think of anything better to do and they suggested it. Now, we had just moved to Seattle from Salina, Kansas a few months prior, and I had been through swim lessons the previous year, but I was a full-on rebel at the age of 4. I kicked and screamed whenever my teachers told me to go into the water. Now, I had heard that since I was moving from a giant patch of grass in the middle of nowhere to live with hippies on the coast, it might be a good idea to learn how to swim. I mean, at any moment I might trip on the sidewalk and fall into Puget Sound, and if I can't swim, I would drown. There is also, hypothermia from the 40-degree water, but drowning is a thing. Now, this time I was ready to do some actual swimming. I was a big girl at this point, so when the day finally arrived, I was ready to swim. So I got into the pool, and the first thing we were told to do was to put our heads under the water. So when I did, I neglected to cover my eyes, and oh my God, did it burn! From that point on, I refused to even let my face touch the water. I was having none of it. My teachers told me to cover my eyes, but I was convinced it wouldn't work, so I simply refused to do anything that involved my head going under the water. The very next thing, though, was putting our face in the water. Our teacher said it was like eating a pizza, and then he put his arms in a triangle shape in front of him and put his face directly on top. I thought he was crazy. Who eats pizza like that? When it came time for us to try, I ate my pizza the correct way and put my fingers in my mouth. He was not having it. I did everything that wasn't putting my face in the water, but because of this, I never went to the next level. A few years later, when I was 8, me and my dad were at a nearby playground about an hour before I had to go to swim lessons, and I didn't want to get stuck with a bunch of 5-year-olds while the grown-up told me to burn my eyes with chlorine. Now, I had a plan. At the park, there was this spinny thing. I don't know what it's really called, so it'll just be that spinny thing. So I spun around really fast, and I got super dizzy. On our way back home, I told my dad that I felt too sick to go to swim lessons. Now, he told me I was just dizzy from spinning too much, and that I would feel better once we got home. Unfortunately, I felt better by the time I was home, and I had to go to swim lessons that day. When I was 9, I was completely fed up with swimming with kids almost half my age, so one day when I was in the shallow kid pool at a public pool with my mom and sister, I did the impossible. I put my face in the water. Apparently my teachers from 4 years earlier weren't lying. All you have to do is close your eyes and plug your nose. Once I got to practicing my cross stroke, I ran into a problem. My hands weren't free to plug my nose. This required some out-of-the-box thinking from me since my mom and sister were in the big person pool and I couldn't ask them for help, and everyone knows that I can't ask a lifeguard because they can't talk. I then had the genius idea to lightly breathe out my nose. This worked, so I was prepared for the next swim lesson. When it came time for the next swim lesson, I was prepared because of all of the swimming, and they finally moved me up so I wasn't the only 9-year-old in a class full of 5-year-olds. Now I was with 7-year-olds. I quit swim lessons the following year. Now that the video is over, I just want to say thank you for watching, and if you're not coming from my Let's Play channel, then I have a Let's Play channel. We're just about to start the post-game of Super Mario Odyssey, but before you check that out, remember to hit that subscribe button.